おばんです。When we last sat together beside this kotatsu, I told you about a man who noticed 17 things wrong with his wife, who said nothing for 3 weeks because he loved her, until she looked at him across the dinner table and said, "You have noticed," and told him it had not yet decided what to do about him. Tonight, I will tell you what it decided. Sit very close. It is time for chapter 133. He had spent the night after the dinner table conversation sitting in his car in the street outside his house, not from fear exactly, simply from the need to think somewhere that was not inside the house, somewhere with distance between himself and whatever was sitting in his living room deciding about him. He had thought carefully about his options, about what the options even were in a situation for which he had no framework, about his wife, the real one, and what had happened to her, about whether asking that question directly was something he was ready to do. He had gone back inside at 4 a.m. Whatever was in his living room had gone to bed. The house was quiet. He had sat in the kitchen until morning, waiting to find out what had been decided. The morning after the dinner table conversation was ordinary, disturbingly ordinary. It made breakfast, made tea in the wrong way, as it always did, asked about his plans for the day. He answered. They moved through the morning in the careful choreography of two people maintaining the surface of something. He watched it the entire time, looking for any indication of what had been decided, finding nothing. It was, if anything, more careful than usual, more considered in its movements. The particular carefulness of something that has made a decision and is waiting for the right moment to communicate it. He went to work, spent the day unable to concentrate on anything, came home, dinner, television, bed. 3 more days of this before the decision was communicated. It told him on a Saturday morning. He was sitting at the kitchen table with coffee when it came and sat across from him and said, "I have decided to tell you something." He said nothing. It said, "She is not gone." He looked at it. It said, "She is here, has been here, the whole time." He did not understand. It said, "I am not a replacement. I am an addition. She is still here, in the house, has been here since I arrived." And then it said something that required him to sit very still for a very long time before he could respond. It said, "She asked me to stay, while she worked out how to come back. And I have been here, in her place, while she has been working on that." He asked where she was. It looked at him with the too careful expression he had catalogued 17 times, and said, "Very close, and getting closer." If these stories have found their way to you, if you find yourself returning to this quiet room, there is something small you can do, like and subscribe. It tells me, and whatever else watches from this room, that you were here, and that you intend to find your way back. He asked the questions he needed to ask carefully, in order, what had happened to her, where she was exactly, why she had needed a replacement while she worked on coming back, what coming back meant, what had happened to her that required coming back rather than simply being here. It answered what it could. Some answers it said it did not have. Some it said were not its to give, that she would give them herself when she was able. The answers it did give were not reassuring exactly. But they were not the answers he had been afraid of across the 3 weeks of the list and the night in the car and the 3 days of waiting. She had not been taken, had not been harmed, was working toward something, had sent this inner place while she worked, had trusted it to maintain things, to keep him from worrying too much. He asked whether it had done that. It looked at him with the almost right expression, said, "Perhaps not perfectly." I wonder, if someone you loved disappeared and sent something in their place to keep you from worrying, would you want to know? Would knowing be better than not knowing? Or would the 17 things on the list have been easier to live with if you had simply let them be? Granny is always listening. She came back on a Tuesday, 3 weeks after the Saturday morning conversation. He was in the kitchen when he heard her on the stairs. Heard her in the particular way that deep familiarity makes hearing someone distinct from hearing anyone else. The specific rhythm of her step, the way she paused at the bottom. He knew before she came through the kitchen door. She came through the kitchen door, made her tea the right way, the way she had made it for 11 years before the trip abroad that had started all of this. He watched her make it, did not speak until she sat down across from him, then asked her one question. She answered it. The answer was not something he could share, had asked me to leave it out of this telling, said only that it was true, and that knowing it had made the 3 weeks and the 17 things and the night in the car and all of it worth it. Shakkoi, but not the cold of fear this time, something else entirely. You are still here. Good. Some stories need a witness all the way to the end. I wonder, are you satisfied with how this one ended? Or does something about it still feel not quite resolved? Pay attention to that feeling. It is usually right. The replacement left the same day she returned, quietly without announcement. He did not see it go, simply noticed at some point in the afternoon that the particular quality of the house had changed, that there were only 2 presences in it again rather than 3. His wife did not speak about where she had been or what she had been doing. He did not ask again after the one question and its answer. They have been living in the house together since. She makes her tea the right way every morning, laughs at the right moments, knows what she should know and not what she shouldn't. He has not added anything to the list. The list he deleted the evening she came back. All 17 items gone. I said the ending would not be what you expected. I hope it was not. The resolution of this story is not dark, not tragic, not haunted. It is something rarer in these kinds of stories, something that ended with the person coming back, with the replacement leaving quietly, with tea made correctly every morning, and yet the feeling you are sitting with right now is there for a reason, because the one question he asked and the answer she gave is something I know, that he told me when he told me this story, and that I will not tell you. because some answers change the shape of everything that came before them. And the shape of this story, the replacement, the 17 things, the night in the car, the Saturday morning conversation, the Tuesday return, sits differently once you know the answer. And you are better off not knowing. Take my word for it, I am very old, and I have learned which answers to keep. Ndanyaa, some resolutions are not endings. They are simply the place where the telling stops. Another whispered story from Japan shared quietly here beside the kotatsu. She came back. He deleted the list. The tea is made correctly every morning. This is as close to a happy ending as this story has, and yet, if you are sitting with a feeling that something has not been fully resolved, you are not wrong. The answer to the one question exists. He knows it. I know it. And it changes the shape of everything that came before it in ways that make the replacement and the 17 things and the night in the car look like the least interesting parts of this story. But that answer is not mine to give in this telling. Perhaps one evening beside the kotatsu I will tell it. When the time is right, when you have been coming back long enough to have earned it. For now, she came back. The tea is right. The list is gone. Hold on to that. It is the part of this story that is entirely and genuinely true. Everything else is still being decided. If this story stayed with you, if the dark or the shadow feels a little closer tonight, you know where to find me. I am always here beside the kotatsu, watching, waiting. And if you wish others to find their way here too, there is something small you can do. Like and subscribe. I would not object.